Hey, what's going on guys, aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 Career Mode, episode number 100 today for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the season finale of Season 5. I can't quite believe we're here at episode number 100, and to celebrate that milestone, we're going to be doing this race as a 100% race distance of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So, getting straight into this weekend, like every other weekend as per usual, just going through and checking our engine. You can see we've got pretty much the entire fifth column, barring the internal combustion engine, we've got all the fifth column fresh parts, 0% wear. So, going to this race, we'll probably have about, just 4% wear or something like that, because the internal combustion engine we do have for the fifth column is only about 12% worn, used in the Brazilian Grand Prix last episode. By the way, if you have missed that one, be sure to go check that one out before you continue on with the rest of this one, episode number 99 at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Obviously, that's going to set up what we're going to have today going into this race, this final one for Season 5. The championship, obviously, we're 25 points ahead of Nico Hulkenberg. So, mathematically, Nico can still win this championship, but it's pretty much in our hands. Today, we're just going to try and do the best we can, have fun out there. Obviously, not trying to bottle it with Sergio Perez to secure the Constructors title, which is still technically up in the air a little bit. We could definitely lose that if we're not careful, but I think hopefully me and Checo will have two strong races, but you just never know. Anything could happen here at Abu Dhabi. So we swing through very quickly then into qualifying, Q1 here, as the sun dies down here in Abu Dhabi, and eventually we'll get to that nighttime action by the time we hit Q3. So going to the final qualifying here for Force India, with the 100% race, I think the strategy for us for qualifying, I'm pretty much going to probably end up going on ultra softs for the entire time through Q2, Q3 as well, as the strategy may be able to be opened up anyway with the ultra softs, because I think there will definitely be a default 2-stop, and then the more aggressive strategy being 3-stop. So I don't think there's any real point to kind of, try and be a bit clever to go on the super softs. I think we can just do it on the ultra softs. Saying that though, in Q2 you can see that that first flying lap actually we ended up with a little bit of a lock-up and going wide into the final corner. So I actually ended up having to do 2 flying laps in Q2, which wasn't ideal because it did mean that I used up a set that I wasn't going to be able to use in Q3, and potentially even though I am able to put in a lap time in Q3, that's going to be fine for me in terms of the grid slot. It's going to mean then I effectively have one less fresh tyre for the race. So that was a little bit of a hindrance, but you can see the pace was pretty damn good in Q2 then on that second flying lap, getting the fastest time there. Now as we go into Q3, speaking of that, under the floodlights finally, as it is fully nighttime, or nearly fully nighttime here in Abu Dhabi, we swing through into the second sector, but this is our one and only flying lap here. You can see in the top right, we're going to the end of the session, and also, as I said, this is our only set of ultra softs now left for this Saturday, and obviously we're going to start on the set we just qualified on in Q2, and I think this will probably be the set, this very set we're on right now in Q3 will be the set we maybe go to in the race if we're using multiple ultra soft sets. So we come across the line, it was initially P3, which I was really happy about, but then by the end of the session it goes down to P7. Perez able to out-qualify us in P5, so not an amazing showing for our final outing here in Force India at Abu Dhabi, but I'm still pretty happy. And obviously number 7, my kind of lucky and kind of favourite number, as some of you guys know if you watch my videos for a while now, so I'm kind of happy with that. But raring to go into our first 100% race on this game, actually, surprisingly, and really ready to celebrate episode number 100. So without further ado, guys, for the final time in this Force India, let's go to the grid and get ready for this race. ...100 career races. Toro Rosso, Renault, Red Bull, and now Force India makes up the tapestry of this first 100 races in this career. And it only seems fitting at this 100th race we are going for our 3rd World Drivers' Championship, and actually our first ever real chance of winning the Constructors' Championship with a team here, and it's come at the 5th season with Force India. So here we go, a 100% race around the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, toast, if you will, to the 100 episodes we have done so far of the F1 2017 Career Mode. Let's make it a good one, eh?
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Sergio Perez, and Hamilton, a Force India, Raikkonen, Bottas, and Jolyon Palmer. Grosjean, Massa, Kevin Magnussen, and Kvyat, Sainz, Ericsson, Fernando Alonso, and Lance Stroll. Van Dorn and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, so here we are at the starting grid for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and thankfully no penalties in the top 10 to talk about, so we have a kind of very pure starting grid from what was the Saturday qualifying Q3. And looking ahead to this race strategy, as I said, going to be a default 2-stop then, and going to a 3-stop potentially for being a bit more aggressive. I'm not too sure what we're going to go with. I've selected the 3-stop because I think we could maybe make up the 3-4 seconds we're apparently going to lose by doing the 3-stop, more so maybe than a 2-stop, but honestly, I don't really know for sure, so we'll just see it as we have done a few times in the past on the fly as we do it, see who we're going to try and cover off, and we'll go from there. So let's just get into this then. So here we go then to 5 red lights here in Abu Dhabi for the season finale of Season 5 to try and take our 3rd World Drivers' Championship. Final lights are out and we're underway from P7 on the grid. It's a great start for us, and well, as Sergio Perez there, we're both going to try maybe make a move to the outside of our respective partners there of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Hulkenberg. We try to feed it around our fellow Brit as Perez gets squeezed out by Hulkenberg. He's actually got squeezed out so much that we go down the inside of him on the next right hand as we go down the hill towards the first chicane, and we're up into P5. Yes, we will nip ahead, and in the background there, a few places darting around, but at the moment it looks like leading the way is still the Red Bull of Max Verstappen there. Got a clean getaway from Sebastian Vettel, and then Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Hulkenberg in 4th place, and then we find ourselves in P5. We move swiftly on to lap 2 then. So at the moment, the top 5 of us are kind of bunched up. We've got a bit of a gap to Perez. Kind of annoying in a way to see Perez fall off a little bit on lap 1 there. I don't really know what went on. I don't think there was any contact made with Hulkenberg, but he definitely had to lift off through that right hand, and that saw us easily past him then. You can see he's setting the purple first sector there. Generally around Abu Dhabi, the strongest sectors for me are Sector 1. Sector 2 is pretty kind of so and so. Obviously it's the main straight, so you would think we'd go well there. And then Sector 3, kind of hit and miss for me, depends on how the tyre wear is, really honestly. But anyways, that won't matter for us at the moment on lap 2 as we make a move to the inside there. Just got the pure slipstream, no DRS quite yet on our only championship rival in this season now in this final race, Nico Hulkenberg. He goes over the curbing, and we make a very easy switchback move there, and effectively just waited and kind of was patient for him to make his own mistake there, hopping over the curbing in that second part of the chicane. And so we're up into P4. Remember, Hulkenberg was 25 points down entering this race, so the only way he was going to win the World Championship was for him to be winning this race and me out of the points. I think you could probably safely say that's not going to happen, but as I said, that's not really what this race is about for me. I just want to try and have the best race I can on the 100th race here in career mode. But we got the full safety car called out actually due to Stoffel Van Dorn going out of this Grand Prix, so we're down to 19 runners now on lap 4, so we slow things down a little bit and have a bit of time to think and calm down, and some time to also save the fuel, because actually that's one thing I haven't contended with so far with the 100% race. The fuel, you can't actually play around with the fuel too much. You can underfuel the car, you can't really overfuel it too much, maybe just about by half a lap. So really we're going to have to do a lot of fuel saving in this race, especially because due to us making overtakes, you know, using rich mix down the straight, and obviously you guys know I like to use a lot of rich mix when I really want to get the car going. We're definitely going to have some phases in the Grand Prix where we're on lean mixture, but that's why this safety car was called out then. You saw there as I was talking about all of that. Stoffel Van Dorn with a very odd puncher in the hairpin then. But we're on the restart now. It's gone green, a little bit wide on the last corner, but we're going to try and close up to Daniel Ricciardo if we can to try and get into P3 at the moment. But still, Verstappen very comfortable from Sebastian Vettel in 2nd place there. Raikkonen at the moment, who was, remember, a championship rival of ours early on this season, way down the order and really not performing so far. So it's ever since Raikkonen was pretty much mathematically out of the championship, he's just slumped, and he's just not looked like the same driver he was at the start of this season. And Nico's been the one that's come out of nowhere to try and make a late charge, but alas, I think it was too late for him. Obviously, leaving it to the final race, trying to get 25 points on me, is a pretty difficult task in its own. I know if I was in that situation, I don't even think I would be able to pull off that sort of miracle. But here we go now, making a move on the Aussie, Ricciardo, the man who were fighting quite hard last episode, down the inside then, and we're up into P3, in the same place we overtook Hulkenberg. This time though, we get it done into the chicane rather than on the outside the chicane on the exit there, and we're up into P3 now. We can try and chase after our former rival Sebastian Vettel, who really hasn't been on it this season. I think he's way down, even behind Jolyon Palmer as it stands in the championship at the moment. So very, very flat season for him. So we come through the hairpin then on the next lap, chasing down the Ferrari car, and we will have DRS and Rich Mix here, and you're just going to see how good of a car we've turned the Force India into, especially in a straight line. Just so OP almost when we're in Rich Mix and DRS and Slipstream. Here we go to the right hand side, round the outside, and sorry, I should say no DRS even yet on lap 7 as the safety car obviously came in on lap 5, so the DRS hasn't even been activated yet. So this is without DRS, just pure Slipstream battling Vettel in Rich Mix round the outside then of the chicane. Couldn't get it quite done on the inside there, but eventually there you go. Vettel has no match, that Ferrari has no match, and we're up into P2, and now we can chase after first place. So it's been a very, very action-packed first 7 laps here for us today in Abu Dhabi, and the sun hasn't even gone down here in the United Arab Emirates. But hopefully you can tell with these opening laps going into this race, I was really raring to go to try and cap this season off with a win, to really celebrate in style. Not only the third World Championship, but also, you know, number 100, and also it would continue on the streak Force India have been. Remember, if you haven't kept up with the last few episodes, at the moment, Force India as a team, we've won 3 races on the trot. It's been Perez, myself, Perez last episode. Can we make it a 4th one now for Force India? That would be amazing. And so here we go for the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 10 then. So it took us 3 laps to catch up to Verstappen and build the momentum there. But with DRS finally, Rich Mix going, we've got it down the inside before that chicane, and we're up into P1. And now we try and stretch our legs, although will Verstappen come back at this? I don't know. He may have a chance to maybe pop it to the outside, the inside. I don't think so. And actually by the time we get onto lap 12 then, 2 laps later only, we're going to come into the pits now. So we're on that, well at the moment we're on that 3 stop where I've chosen that 3 stop strategy. So that's why I'm coming in on lap 12. Perez, actually, interesting enough, I haven't mentioned this so far, my teammate Perez actually came in under the safety car, I think that was. So at the moment, he's already on his 2nd set of ultra soft tyres, and whilst we're going round from lap 10 to lap 12, he set a fast lap of the Grand Prix on his new ultras. So showed, you know, from Checo at least, that the fresh tyres are really working out. So that gave me confidence to make a bit of an early pit stop. It looks like maybe Verstappen and even the likes of everyone else behind us, Vettel, Ricciardo, you know, Raikkonen, Hamilton, the 2 Mercedes cars, we haven't really seen this Grand Prix yet. I think they're all maybe going for a 2 stop potentially, but it looks like for sure at least Perez is going for the 3 stop, and it looks like for now I would say I'm going to do the same as we pit this early. So now onto lap 13 we close up on one of the Haas cars, Magnussen. Now unfortunately though, he comes in the pit lane, so I can't have the satisfaction of overtaking him on track, but we come across the line on lap 14 then, and we're going to be up into now P5 as we got a whole gaggle of cars in the pits then, and now we chase after Romain Grosjean, the 2nd Haas of the afternoon. And whilst we come across the line now, we're going to cut to a little action of Max Verstappen in the pit lane there. There is Perez behind us on track, but there is Verstappen there on the left-hand side. He goes under the tunnel, obviously the only pit lane exit in the F1 season that goes underneath the track and comes back up. And you can see a whole train of cars, but crucially for us, Perez, there he goes, ahead of Verstappen. So Perez has made a huge undercut. He was behind us by 2 positions, and now he's ahead of Verstappen, and Verstappen was only just behind us as we came to the pit stop. So that's just showing the undercut and potentially just the fresher tyres really coming to play here at Abu Dhabi. So I think that may kind of show us the 3 stop may be the way to go. But the thing is, Perez is on the 2nd set of ultras, so he's definitely going on 3 stop, although you may have noticed I'm on a set of super soft. So I have still left myself open to do a 2 stop, which would involve the ultras that we've already used, this 1 set of super softs, and then a 2nd set of super softs. So I've got a bit of leeway and a bit of wiggle room, so I've done that on purpose. Otherwise I definitely would have gone on ultras, but I wanted to leave myself open to that strategy call to maybe convert to the 2 stop. You can see now trying to make the move on Grosjean, bit of a hamper actually, kind of held this up a little bit, and so we almost made a little bit of a Charles Leclerc kind of a move there, like what he did in the real life Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in the F2 race there. He tried to make a lunge to the inside, and he had to eventually wait to make it down the inside of this very chicane. So we kind of copycat move Charles there from the real life F2 race, and we're up into P1 once again. But you can see behind us now, as we're in the lead now, it's a case of us just doing our race, but behind us, Perez is the one doing some defending here. As we can see in the background, the Ferrari car gets past Grosjean, but Perez trying to defend desperately from P2, but Verstappen goes down the inside, bit of a hop and a leap over the chicane, but Perez will have the speed advantage. So can he try and defend this 1-2 for Force India at the moment to try and end off? It would be amazing amazing, we're going to end off in a 1-2. That'd be absolutely fantastic. And so far, Perez does do it. But on the very next lap then, looks like Verstappen has way more momentum now into the chicane. And once again, trying it around the outside then. It's very close stuff. Perez almost cuts the corner there. And again, Verstappen hops over the curbing. I don't know what on earth he thinks he'll be able to, you know, pull off with the momentum over the curbing. But this time, though, crucially, kind of gets ahead of Perez, parks the bus, and defends to the inside there. Perez tries his best to go around the outside, the long way around. A little bit of a lock-up from Max there, but into the kind of a swing right and left. The next chicanes, Verstappen able to keep ahead, and he's up into P2, and now he's got a lot of clean air to try and chase after myself, obviously. So Perez down in P3 then, and I think that's Sebastian Vettel in P4. Eventually, Vettel will overtake Perez as well, you can see on the top left there. So Perez down to P4 now, unfortunately. So his ultra soft tyres probably going off at this stage on lap 22. And on lap 22, on the first DRS straight, Verstappen looking for a way past to try and take the lead away from me. I'm kind of struggling really on these super soft. They're not feeling amazing. And Verstappen is on ultra, so he's going to have the better initial grip, you would say, although his tyres should theoretically be falling off way more than I am. But at the moment, I really just don't have the rhythm, and it feels like with the fuel I've got on these tyres right at the moment, they're just not doing the job, and really I may have been better off on some ultra soft tyres potentially. So here comes Verstappen. We have done the job in the first part on the first DRS straight, but second bite of the cherry for Verstappen, obviously with DRS there. Around the outside he goes. We do defend to the inside as hard as we can, but a little bit of contact's made, and Verstappen crucially just has the car ahead of us there, and we're going to try our best to send it back down the inside. It's a really nice little lunge there, actually. We kind of slid into that slot, and we're going side by side now, and we're still neck and neck in the double flat out right-hander. So close, but Verstappen ultimately has it down the inside. He's going to squeeze us out there, really pushes us towards the curbing, and I just can't get him into the next left-hander as we go onto the Viceroy Hotel. We just get hit with dirty air, and we can't keep up with Verstappen then. So at the moment, we're on the back foot now in this stage of the race. I'm not too sure. You can see we're on low fuel as well, a little bit on the bottom right, so I don't have the fuel exactly to burn in rich mix, and I think Verstappen for sure is on rich mix at the moment. He's probably saved some cleverly at the start of this race, and probably the same can be said for Sebastian Vettel now as we look behind us on lap 25. And already I'm deciding we're going to come in, whatever happens this lap. If Vettel overtakes me, if he doesn't, we're going to come in this lap, because my tyres, they're not going completely off, but I'm struggling on them, so I need a new set. I just don't know what it is. The feeling's just not great on this particular set at the moment on the fuel we've got. So now we try and defend from Vettel as best we can. A little bit of contact's made as I tried to make the switchback move work. Didn't work out. Vettel parked the bus there in the chicane. We're going to try and come back at him. It's going to be very, very close stuff on the left-hand side. We go to the left. It's so close. We hit the wall there, and myself and Vettel, former rivals, going hammer and tong here, and that is so close. And Vettel ultimately does get ahead of us though, and he's up into P2. We're down to P3, but that is so close. That is a heart and mouth moment. That could have been race over for us so prematurely on lap 25. But we come in then, as I said, either way, we're going to come in and we're going to strap on another set of super soft tyres. So this still opens us up to potentially doing a two-stop, because we could technically take these super softs all the way to the end. It would be a push, but we could do it, or we can go on around lap 44, it would be lap 43 maybe, onto a set of ultra soft tyres. So again, still leaving myself open for that. Yes, I'm going to another set of super softs, which may be a bit odd from you guys maybe thinking about that, because I just said the first set of super softs weren't feeling amazing, but I don't know what it was. I honestly just think it was some kind of psychological thing, or maybe even a real thing of just that set in particular. Maybe I locked up too much, maybe on a particular lap, and ruined them already. And so for me, I thought, yeah, we'll still probably go well on a second fresh set of super softs. Meanwhile though, from my teammate up ahead, he overtakes Kimi Räikkönen then, and really we're coming up behind our teammate still, and so we're going to try and do the job to chase after him. So he'd already overtaken Kimi, and so now we're going to try and overtake him on lap 28 down the inside, the final corner here. It's going to be actually a pretty damn nice move here. We go so close, a little bit of contact made with his side pod there, but here we go to make the overtake on the man we initially thought we were going to be fighting for the World Drivers' Championship this season. And so how things have changed. He's woefully out of sync of this Grand Prix now, as he's still going on that first set of super soft tyres for him. And so now as we close up to Max Verstappen now, as Stroll unfortunately gets in our way a tad under the blue flags. We can see at the moment we're in P3, Verstappen's P2, and Perez is in P1 as we do set the fast lap of the Grand Prix though. So you can see the second set of super softs working a lot better for us than that first set. We've got the pace, and we are closing up quite rapidly on Verstappen. So now we move on to lap 33, another purple first sector. Perez still leading this Grand Prix, and Verstappen P2. So you've got to say Perez has done an absolute blinder of a strategy to pit early for ultra soft tyres, really use that to his advantage, get ahead of Verstappen, and now he's leading the way on super soft tyres, and he could technically take this to the end. So, just like in Brazil, a masterclass stroke from Checo to make it into the lead of this Grand Prix. But here we go, down the inside of Verstappen now. It's been a long time coming to the inside. Again, like with Nico, patient here. Just do the switchback move. Here we go. A little bit of an oversteer moment on the exit, but that's fine. Keep it calm. We've got DRS. We'll actually get back in the slipstream of Verstappen as he had a better exit off that chicane. And so we'll pull this to the outside, go the long way round. So this will be a bit bold, but we're going to have the inside line for the second part of the chicane. So that'll be the better place to be. And Verstappen actually lifts off there into the right-hander, gives us way too much room. And thank you very much, Max. So we're up into P2 now. So that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And the entire time there, we went into lean mixture into that sector because that's the best place to save the fuel, basically. So now we're closing up on Perez, and we've got a lot of lap cars. Alonso initially into the final corner. We can see 2 lap cars ahead of us, and one of them is a Ferrari car. So I don't know if Vettel or Raikkonen's had an issue there. The Sauber gets out of the way, but we're rapidly closing down on Perez now as he's getting held up into turn 1. Major, oh my god, there's been contact. It's Raikkonen. Raikkonen's had huge issues in this race, and he's made contact now under blue flags with Sergio Perez, the race leader, and so we've rapidly gained back on our teammate now. So the momentum is here, where it seems like the F1 gods want us to win this race as we close up now to our teammate rapidly. But let's pause here. Let's have a moment of clarity and see what went on. Let's look at a replay now. So Perez goes down the inside of Alonso there. You can see there is the Sauber, and Raikkonen, who at this stage is already lapped now. I don't know what's gone on. He's on a set of soft tyres, so I'm guessing he maybe had a crash of some sort and had to come in for a front wing change. But into turn 1, he gets held up majorly, and looks like there's some contact made there on the entry to the apex of turn 1. Raikkonen goes wayward, and thankfully doesn't go any more and kind of spins or anything like that, because I could have easily kind of T-boned him into the exit of turn 1. But here we go to the apex, and that's so annoying for Perez. And Perez actually lost a bit of his front wing there on the left-hand side. So Perez with front wing damage, almost inevitable that we'll try and make this move now for the Grand Prix, because through the corners he's not going to have the pace now anymore. So here we go to the outside of the chicane, just like Verstappen did on Perez earlier on in the race. To the inside for the second part. He's still there on the outside though, so we'll go neck and neck on the exit. Absolutely awesome scenes now as we battle away for the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in this final round to try and take the Constructors and World Drivers' Championship. But here we go, the long way round, brake as late as we can, lock up on the left tyre, nice and easy though. On the inside of the next right-hander, we go as wide as we can, open up the car, and we're up into P1, and Perez down to P2. But really, really unfortunate stuff there for Perez now, who is now in second place with front wing damage. But very odd stuff there from Raikkonen. He almost kind of cut the corner to turn 1, and that's what kind of sent him to crash with Perez. But as we move on now through the next few stages of the Grand Prix, essentially I just opened up the gap completely, because Perez, as I mentioned, with that front wing damage, was struggling so much through the corners to the point where I had an 8-second gap to Perez, who is still in second by this point, and only by the last kind of 15 laps did Verstappen get enough momentum to try and make the move on Perez. Of course, down the straights, Perez was still pretty damn good, but through the corners, Verstappen had it, and eventually now, through the chicane, Verstappen again with the hop over that bump, the singing policeman gets it into P2, now has free air to try and chase after me, and so now we've got Daniel Ricciardo trying to chase after Perez, and behind them is Nico Hulkenberg, who's made a move on Sebastian Vettel to get up into what will be P5. And then pretty rapidly onto the next lap, you would imagine Daniel Ricciardo is going to try and make this move in the same exact way as his teammate there, to the outside then for the inside for the next chicane, and the second Red Bull hops that curbing. I don't know what on earth. I feel like the Red Bull cars are like magnetically attracted to that curbing at the moment, but actually due to that hop, he's not actually made it. He's still neck and neck, and Hulkenberg, look at him shooting off like a bullet around the outside to make a double overtake. What a move from our former teammate in the Renault car, the German. What a move. He's up into P3 from P5. That's a blistering move, and probably maybe even the move of the race there. Round the outside, got the momentum, got the slingshot almost, as Ricciardo and Perez were too caught up in fighting each other, and so he's bagged himself a really great podium, and it may be even more. We'll see, because we're now on to lap 53 now, the last 3 laps of this 100% race at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And so at the moment, after that, with Verstappen in clean air, eventually his true pace came to show. He was getting held up for sure so much by Perez, and so he caught up to us, caught that 8 seconds very, very rapidly. He was setting fast after the Grand Prix even, and so now on lap 53, having to do some defending. You can see we moved to the left-hand side of the circuit to kind of break the toe, and for now, we're still keeping ahead of it. So now we move on to the final lap of the Grand Prix, the final lap of this 100th episode. Raikkonen still making a mess of it. He's lapped for the second time in this race, that is a really poor way to end off this episode for Raikkonen and this season. I just honestly don't know what he's doing out there. But onto the last lap, the last main straight, the first DRS straight. We pull to the left once again to break the toe, and you can see actually we're pretty damn comfortable. We've got rich mix, we've got plenty of fuel still to burn, and so Verstappen has no answer down that straight. Neither does Hulkenberg to overtake Verstappen then, and so you may see this may be the last chance Verstappen gets down this second straight. He's got a little bit closer under braking, but yet again, up into rich mix, we break the slipstream a little bit by moving to the right, then we move back to the middle of the circuit, and Verstappen, looking behind us, is nowhere near us, and so we can kind of relax now. We can go through the final 2 corners here, the second last corner, through to the last, to take home our 3rd World Drivers' Championship, and also the Constructors' Championship for Force India, and that is going to be a great way to end out episode number 100.
Fantastic drive, and it means your driver's world champion. What a result. Enjoy it.
The celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion.
So awesome. I am so happy we could round out the season in this way with a win to carry on 4 wins on the trot for Force India here to end out Season 5. Absolutely awesome, and just showing how good of a car we turned this pink beast into to win the last 4 races. A checkerboard of Perez, myself, Perez, and now myself for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And what a way in style in a 100% race to take home our 3rd World Drivers' Championship and our first ever Constructors title with a team with Sahara Force India. So smash that like button, guys. It's been an absolutely awesome 100 episodes of F1 2017 Career Mode, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed these 100 episodes, and let me know what you thought of that race in the comments below. Absolutely awesome. There you go, confirmation there. Hulkenberg, yeah, as I said earlier in the episode, really had to hope for the biggest miracle ever for me not to score any points at all in this race, especially with so many laps to do it in. It would have been near impossible. But there you go, the Constructors Champions. The first time we've seen it on this game that I've been with the team that's won the Constructors. For a while now, it's pretty much just been all Ferrari. But this time, this season, Ferrari really bottled it. And you can see the reputation's gone up and up and up for all teams there. And definitely Ferrari in the last few episodes went up. So I was kind of curious to see what contract offers I could get. And I was kind of maybe seeing maybe if we can maybe get a Ferrari drive, because I know a lot of you guys have wanted me to maybe drive for Ferrari for the first time in a while in a vanilla F1 career mode. But you can see here the teams we've got available to us at the end of this season are Mercedes, Toro Rosso and Haas. Now realistically, I'm not going to choose Toro Rosso, so it's between Mercedes and Haas. Mercedes, obviously, they came 5th, so they did rubbish basically this season from what were, the dominant, car in Season 1, championship with Lewis Hamilton, and now they're 5th behind Red Bull. Renault came 2nd and beat Ferrari. Ferrari came 3rd. Red Bull came 4th. Mercedes down in 5th with so many woeful finishes. So they definitely have some picking up to do. But there's a new feature actually on YouTube at the moment, a community feature on the channel where I can post a poll, I think it is, and I can do a bit of basically a straw poll within YouTube itself. So I think all of you guys should be able to access that when I post the poll. So basically I'll post the poll like an hour after this episode goes out, and we'll see how that works. Hopefully you guys can somehow get to it, and you'll get a notification maybe if it goes on my channel community page on the I don't know, like an extra page basically on the tab, and hopefully you guys can vote there. Maybe just, it won't be a definite vote, I'll just be using that to see what you guys are thinking. Ultimately, obviously, as always, I will take the personal decision, because at the end of the day I'm the one having to do the races, so at the end of the day I'll choose what I want. But I'm just kind of getting inkling of what maybe you guys want to see from Season 6. But yeah, wow, 100 episodes, and what a brilliant 100 it's been, and here's to another 100 to go towards Season 10. Guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, once again though, hit that like button, let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, and then you get subscribed for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.